can I also just share something on the back of the American story you just shared, going across the pond back to England? So Horace just showed what's happening in America, which is the Hamtramck City Council. They're like a whole Muslim panel. So over here this week, this was going down. And I don't want to go into this entirely because I just want to make a point, basically. So this woman, Nusrat Ghani, basically. Ghani, sorry. Nusrat Ghani's claim of Islamophobia, a lame excuse for sacking, says Michael Fabricant. Let's be clear, it's not the role of any man, Muslim or non-Muslim, to police a woman's faith because of the clothes she wears, said one Labour shadow minister. So basically, there's all this beef going down right now where the Tory party, so the Conservatives, are being accused of being Islamophobic because this minister was fired and she's claiming that she was fired on account of her Muslimness. So this is the response. Basically, so Michael Fabricant has sparked anger after he described Nusrat Ghani's claims of Islamophobia as a lame excuse for being sacked from her job as a Conservative minister. Ms. Ghani claimed in an interview with the Sunday Times that a Conservative whip told her Muslim faith was making colleagues feel uncomfortable after losing her government job in 2020. She had asked a party whip about the decision and was told her religion was discussed at a Downing Street meeting. Reacting to the Ms. Ghani's allegations, the Tory MP for Lichfield said it stinks as she's barely someone who is obviously a Muslim. I don't know what he means by that. I guess she just wasn't
pulling the shot.
Yeah. So she is, but because she doesn't, take being a Muslim to the next level where you can't outwardly see that she's a Muslim, you could maybe assume that based on her ethnicity is what he's claiming. So speaking on LBC, he said the timing is interesting. So it's not only open season on the whip's office, I think far more importantly, it's open season on Boris Johnson and putting pressure on him from the party to try and get him to resign. All of this is kicking off in England, by the way, but I'm just going to skip to it.
But is it brand new? Is there
oh my God, he is such a liar, and he's been hosting parties that completely breached the COVID regulations. They were drinking they had a wine and cheese night. The English public have absolutely roasted him, but they were partying on the night before the Queen went to attend Prince Philip's funeral completely alone, and then they had actually done a rehearsal press conference on what they would say to the media if they were caught about this party, and that footage got released and they're just laughing and they're like, it was a business meeting and it wasn't socially distanced at all. There was wine, they're literally mocking the whole process, and people were like, we've sat alone. My mother died in hospital alone from COVID because you guys told me there were regulations where I couldn't go see her, yet you were partying in 10 Downing Street with wine and cheese and getting lashed. You know what I mean? It's just, anyway. So there's all this pressure on him to resign, but I just want to make a quick point. So across the pond, this is what's happening. And this is the Tory party's take. They're saying prejudice of any kind in modern Britain is pretty pathetic. It was pathetic 100 years ago, and it's even more pathetic now when this sort of thing happens. Ministers come and they go. Sometimes it's because you want to refresh the ministerial team. Sometimes it's because they were useless, savage. Sometimes because they are just average and mediocre and you want to put somebody else in. He added, I think the whole thing actually stinks, the accusation being made by Nusrat Ghani. For her to say that someone has said it's because she's a Muslim, I mean, she's barely someone who is obviously a Muslim. I had no idea what religion she is. The Labour MP Keith Faz, who was of South Asian origin, he actually, I do know because we discussed it, and he's no longer an MP, is a Goan Christian. Others are Hindus, others are Muslims, and whatever. But with her, it wasn't apparent, so it does seem a rather lame excuse. She claims she was sacked because of that. Frankly, the timing is very suspicious. And then they go on, and David Lammy, who's the opposition party, says if the Conservatives wanted to show they were serious about tackling Islamophobia, they could start by removing the whip from Michael Fabricant. Now, all I want to say is, and obviously he goes on to defend women, which this is a great comment. Let's be clear, it's not the role of any man, Muslim or non-Muslim, to police a woman's faith because of the clothes she wears, or police her clothes because of the faith or lack of faith she has. Completely get that. But what I wanted to show you guys is that here again, the wrong words are being used in this context. They're talking about Islamophobia, which, okay, fine. In this situation that is being discussed, if this was a reason, if her Muslimness was a reason, then at the end of the day, that's still anti-Muslim bigotry. That is not Islamophobia by any stretch of the imagination, to the point where they're saying outwardly they couldn't even really tell which religion she was. But the conflation of the two, like, when in the situation that you described that's happening in America, it's an all Muslim council or what have you, and obviously then we're seeing the like actual Islamic theological aspects infringing some of their ways and to govern and things like that, which are in direct conflict with the constitution. In these situations, sometimes Muslims like to play the victim card, or I understand that the Tory party is, by the way, like, they can't be let off the hook so easily, but these allegations are huge. And this is probably for the English audience more, but this is exactly what happened to Jeremy Corbyn from the Labour Party when he was like riddled with these anti-Semitism like scandals that were put on him, and now his career is pretty much like, it's really dwindled, and respect and everything for him. But when a Muslim gets fired for what may have been a myriad of reasons, who knows, I haven't even looked into this matter so much, but to use Islamophobia straight away as opposed to saying anti-Muslim bigotry, I think it needs to be called out, and we need to be like, make that distinction and say, if anything, if her Muslimness was an issue, that is fine. That's them being like bigoted towards Muslims. But in terms of Islamophobia, that is honestly a bullshit term, and it's being used and chucked about in mainstream media, in politics, in governance, like it actually has weightage. Thank you, Charming Aquarius. It's a mess right now, but I appreciate it. But yeah, so I just wanted to, so while that's happening in America, this is happening in England, but in both situations, it's, that things need to be straightened out.
Yeah, but this one, this one, yeah, well, I know we saw some parallel in that, but this is just a case of someone just being a bit careless or whatever. It's
anti-Muslim bigotry. If she's right,
but she's not. That's the only point I'm making. We don't even know that. We don't even know that.
So that's what I'm saying. If she's right,
but I'm asking,
this is anti-Muslim bigotry. Not
but Nuria, I'm asking. Even then, there's this TV show that I watched. Who's the guy? Ned, who played Rob Stark. Oh, damn it! It's Netflix. I watched a TV show which is about, he's a bodyguard. I think it is called The Bodyguard.
The Bodyguard. Oh yeah, I couldn't finish that. I got so fed up towards the end.
Do you remember the first episode when he actually goes to become the foreign minister's bodyguard?
Bodyguard, yeah.
Her ex-husband comes to him and he talks something about. He tries to, like, they're having an argument. He's a politician too, but he argues with her, whatever. And then he says, because he's a bodyguard, he's concerned about foreign minister's security. He says, let's go in. He says it twice. So the guy just says, you know what, just shut up already. Like, or whatever. Like, he just tells him off. He's like, let me talk to her. And then he just says, I'm biracial. He just says that deliberately on purpose. He goes, the politician's like, it's going to become an issue. So, and then he calls his secretary. He says, I want my, this date to be noted that this is what has just happened. And then so the foreign minister asked him, are you really biracial? He said no. So they know that these cards can be played. If, let's say, you're supposed to be overweight, like, and I'm having an argument with you or something, and would it be, even though a comment has been made about your weight at some point, which is highly inappropriate and should never be made, but in a heat of a moment, if someone's done that, again, not endorsing that, but I'm saying, but initially the argument that you and I had was about the actual issue, not because you're overweight, yeah? So if this argument that's taken place between them is because of the actual issue, even if he did say, which we don't know that, even if he did make a
but Boris has said things, right? Like that Muslims are like wearing bin bags, or they look like bin bags or bank robbers. He fully made that statement.
Yeah, but but it's a description.
I know, but with the intent to be bigoted.
No, anyway. It's a description, because again, it's inappropriate for a politician aspiring to be a prime minister. It's not suitable. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that these people who do say that, they actually are not probably racist. They're not racist. Yes, a racist would say the same things as well. But I'm saying, if I'm disagreeing with you over an issue And then in the heat of the moment, I bring in your weight or your race or
so
your
ad hominems.
yeah, it's an ad hominem. If you just happen to be a white person, I would say something else about you. Like, I'll find something maybe called redneck or something. Again, not appropriate. But it's the matter is still about the actual issue, not that. But again, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to change the culture. But this woman just seems like probably playing the card.
If you like these videos and want to support me in my activism, then you can support me on Patreon or PayPal. Stay free, everyone.